today, if you didn't know, it's already taken off the website. So you can't even see that there was a live class that was available. But there was a live class available as part of the Rachel Hollis live tour. And now, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, this is Rachel Hollis's live event, the only in-person event of the year, the only event that has ever happened. Not even just with Rachel, like of the whole year. It's the only event to go to. Thank you, Darby DeFord. I appreciate it. Darby says, gonna have to catch the replay tomorrow because of the first round of med school exams coming up, but wanted to contribute to the live. Please feel free to unfollow me. Darby, you need to leave.
Unfollow me.
You need to leave. However, before you go,
I will actually do something obscene for you.
And that is...
I don't have to go do a potty.
Dave not having to do a potty, but also...
Not your poop again.
Not your poop again. And one final thing.
Dave, you're talking about peace, aren't you? No, I'm talking about buying my book.
Talking about getting off and going to study for med school exams. Rooting for you, girly, Darby. Good luck, for real. But also...
Unfollow me.
Just kidding. If you can't commit to being serious about this live stream, then just leave. Med school, pff, who needs it? I just believe, and my medicine, believing is my medicine. Believing in myself. Okay. So if you remember, up here, there was like live class. There was that little link next to the Rachel Hollis live tour, like button near the Instagram button. That's gone because the event was today. And guess who got to go? However, I'm not gonna lie, I feel really dumb. And I probably would have had more tea if I would have been there on time, but it was like 11 o'clock Central CST time. And I swear to God, I looked it up last night and it's 2 hours different than my time, which is Eastern Standard, but apparently it's only 1 hour. So I showed up an hour late, like a dummy. As soon as there's like a difference in time zone, I zone out apparently. So
most people won't get up at 4 a.m.
Most people won't get up at 4 a.m. I also won't enter the live at the right time, but I did go to the live. I was there late. I got there an hour late, and there was 122 people at the max when I was there. Now they could have come in and left because it was an hour plus class about confidence, but yeah, not thousands of people like she's claimed. It was not 200. It was 122, I believe, was the most, and it went down from there. So sort of low numbers, which would match the low numbers that are seemingly still a part of this tour. Now, I haven't looked in a little bit, but here is now this venue has changed. It was a bigger venue. It got downsized. There's still tickets available. So all the gray is sold. All the orange is unsold VIP, and all the blue is available regular. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so, but this is the first one coming up. Like, this is coming up on next Friday night at 7. There's going to be a lot of empty seats. Charleston. Oh, shit. Wait. Oh, no. We figured this out last time. Charleston is still going on, but they switched venues. So now the Ticketmaster doesn't work. So that's good. That's good for sales. Joliet. Here we go. I'm just going through these quickly just to see where we're at with them. This one, yeah, this one's got a lot more to go to sell out or to get close to being full. But they got time. This October 6th for that one. So technically, people could all of a sudden show up, get it? This one, I think all of the gray on the corners in the back have been closed. So still a lot of seats there for Chesterfield. Here's Kansas City. Not so much. I will not say whether I'm going to the show or not. I will keep it a mystery in all of your eyes. And I don't want to get anyone from their team. I don't want to lead them on to knowing anything about me going to anything. So I'll just keep it vague, like Heidi's anxiety post. I'll do the very thing I hate, keeping things vague. But I don't want to cause any problems, and I do want to go and experience it as an actual guest, and I don't want to cause a scene or get kicked out or anything, so I'm not going to say whether I'm going to go or not, where I'm going to go. Just going to keep it on the DL until it's after it's done, which I'm sort of giving it away already, but you'll know when it's time to know. But okay, let's just go through the list one more time. Oh yeah, wait, you can't see Detroit. They blocked that. So Charleston and Detroit, I can't see right now because the link doesn't work for Charleston. And this is the last one of the night, of the tour. This is the Cincinnati, Ohio, and there was Columbus, which was canceled due to lack of ticket sales. And the other Ohio doesn't seem to be like, oh, everyone's now going there, so it seems. But she did address, Rachel did address that some cities, because there was, Columbus was on the list. What was the other one? Now I forget. It was like Nebraska, and there was like some other one. It's been a long month. I don't know. There was like 4 other cities that got cut from the list. And they're gone because there wasn't ticket sales. Now I'm shocked that somewhere like Joliet could still exist while the other ones were canceled. But she did address it, so I will give her 0.1% props for addressing it. However, there's like 20 things that she said that were just not accurate that bothered me. And because I'm not a nice person, I'm not going to give her the big benefit of the doubt. Oh yeah, Omaha, Nebraska, Indianapolis, and Wichita. Yeah. Those are the other ones. Thank you guys. You guys got better memories than me. Okay, so she addressed it in a podcast. So we're not gonna listen to the whole podcast because the beginning was kind of boring. But the part where she brings up, now someone allegedly asked her the question like about tickets disappearing, cities disappearing on the tour, because she did not address it. She just like took them off, redid the website, took off the cities, and people got an email and said it's been canceled. So she does address it. Now we're gonna go through like line by line and poke holes in her explanation.
Your podcast.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna raise this up because I've been watching back some of my videos and it's like off. So let me know if it's right, if it's better audio balanced, because I feel really bad that it's all crazy sounding. So let me know. Okay.
See, this one says, okay, she has a question about tour.
Hey, Rachel, I just noticed that you are not touring in Columbus. So I was just curious as to if you're okay and if you're going to be at anywhere close to there. I was really looking forward to it. I listen to you pretty much every day. And so if you have the opportunity to let other people know on your podcast what happened, I would really just like to know what happened, I guess. And I hope that you're okay. All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay, so just in case, I turned it up, so hopefully it's all good. She's like, oh, you're not going to Columbus anymore. Just wanted to make sure you're okay. What happened? Just want to know you're okay. Still too quiet? Okay. Did it get better? Dang it. Too quiet. Okay. I have it maxed out. Maybe I should shut myself up. Better. Okay. Let me know.
Oh my gosh. First of all, love that. I probably should call. Her name's Erica. I probably should call her and like freak her out and be like, hey, it's Rach. Thank you for the question.
Freak her out. Starting off with a banger. It sounds like, oh, I'm going to call her and she's going to be so impressed with my fame that she'll freak out. It's like, I think people don't really care as much, but okay.
Yeah, there were a couple.
Yeah, everyone said that it sounds like her. You want to listen to it again? Just to.
Really looking forward to it. I listen to you pretty much every day. And so if you have the opportunity to
it's like they say on TikTok right now, they're like, if you slow down a Nicki Minaj song, it sounds like Jay-Z. And if you slow down an Adele song, it sounds like Sam Smith. And it's like, if you speed up this recording, it sounds like Rach.
Want to know on your podcast what happened? I would really just like to know what happened, I guess, and I hope that you're okay. All right, thanks. Bye.
Oh my gosh. First of all, love that. I probably should call. Her name's Erica. I probably should call her and like freak her out and be like, hey, it's Rach. Thank you for the
Erica.
question. Yeah, there were a couple cities that came off the tour schedule and it's nothing to worry about. So
Weird. That's a weird way to handle this situation. It's nothing to worry about. Okay. I don't think she's worried about you. I mean, she said it in the thing, are you okay? I think Erica meant to say, like, are you okay? Something happened? Like, are you all right? Or ego busted maybe? I don't know. Who knows? But like, nothing to worry about. Like, no one was worried. I think it's just like, okay, what do you think about it? Why aren't you talking about it?
first, I will answer Erica specifically and say she said she was in Columbus. So I hope, Erica, you'll come to the Cincinnati show. So there are actually two in Ohio. And I know it's not in the exact same place, but it is in the same state. So maybe you roll over and hang out with me there. And I believe Cincinnati's our last night. So I feel like that's going to be the most epic. Like it'll be this big build up to that last night. So hopefully you can come hang out with us there. But yeah, it's not controversial or dramatic. It was like a little bit of a bummer, but this whole tour is an experiment.
Who would have thought it was controversial? It wasn't like, I don't know, like controversial would have been like Columbus, Ohio had a riot because Rachel Hollis was coming to town because of her, misappropriating quotes from Maya Angelou, and people burned down the city, and that's why they canceled. Like, okay, that's one thing. That's controversial. Like, we all kind of figured that no one was going to buy these tickets, and it was more shocking that anyone was still interested, unironically going. So this is sort of fitting the narrative that I've seen from my vantage point of like a hater. So this is why it's like, oh, like, have you connected to that, Rachel? Like, that's, I think, what people are wanting to know. So no one thinks it's controversial.
I've never done it before. We're going to cities that are not known for personal development. I think I've said this pretty publicly that, it was intentional. If I had gone to Miami, LA, Manhattan, like there are places I could go that I know would be a bigger draw. No. This I was listening to this and like, first of all, she's been to Charleston before and had like a full, like sold out conference with thousands of people, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why I think she went back there. So if that city specifically that is still on the list, which is Charleston, South Carolina, was a big success for her. So the other cities too, and someone pointed this out on Reddit, and I'm like, great point. When she was talking to Tony Robbins, this year, he asked her a question, or she said, well, my target audience is a soccer mom from Ohio. So you literally picked two locations in Ohio, which would match your version of who your target audience is, who you're speaking to, the woman that you write all your books to, the person that you're talking to in your podcast when you pretend that we're best friends and you say, love you, rooting for you. Who you're thinking of is a soccer mom in the state that you literally just closed down a city to go live in. That's where the disconnect is for me. It's like, don't gaslight us into thinking this is all because I made it this way. Bullshit. You're failing, and that's okay. It's okay to fail, but don't tell me you're not failing and, oh, it's just an experiment and whatever. And I will give her credit because she's going to go and say, like, you have to try shit. You got to go for it. You got to, like, be okay with being embarrassed. And I agree. I think that's a good point. I think that's what she really does bring to the table. And we're going to watch the interview, but like Lisa's like, you're resilient. And I don't disagree. She is resilient in the sense of she's still here. She's still making content. I would have been gone 2 years ago. I'd have been out. As soon as Dave and I broke up, gone. Like you would never see me again. I would take the money that I made and disappear, and that would have been it. So the fact that she's continuing to try, I will give her credit. Do I think it's an overt positive, net positive for the world and for her mental health and her children?
Absolutely not. I don't think she's really making anything better for herself by sticking around, but that is resilience. So, hey, if you want to live your life like that, go for it. Who am I to say anything different? But she never went to Miami. She's never done LA. She's never done Manhattan for a fucking good reason. She came to Fort Myers when she came to Florida instead of Miami when she did a Rise conference for a reason. You have a target audience. That's the pockets in which they live. There was research done. Don't bullshit me and go, and she's going to say, I don't know if she says it in this or before, it's like God or like the universe called me into these specific cities. Okay, so she also says she's guided all the time. So if she was called and guided to go to Columbus by her spirit guides,
My guardian angels, my spirit guides.
like, why would they lead you astray and then you have to shut it down? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, her whole philosophy on life is like, I'm guided, and if I just listen, I will be like, you know, abundantly whatever, like rewarded because I'm perfect and I'm the best and God chose me better than you. You know, that's the vibe I get from not just her. A lot of people say that. But, you know, why would he guide you, or she or they, whatever, guide you to pick a choice of a city that's not selling? It doesn't make sense then. Then it goes, well, you got to experiment. Okay, well, that's a different life philosophy than like listen to your instincts and they'll never lead you astray. It's like bullshit. Because again, she's no dummy. If Miami was the place to be, she'd be in Miami. But you know, I don't know one fucking personal development thing that doesn't happen in Ohio. Anyways, okay, going back.
People there maybe have gone to something like this before and would want to come see. And in this instance, we were trying out cities to see if there was nibbles there. And some cities, it just wasn't as popular. And people were like, oh, you know, what? And I was like, oh, it's okay. It's not a big, you know, I think probably the incredible team that has been working on tour with me, I think that they probably were worried about my ego and like, oh, what are you going to do? And I'm like, oh, I still can't believe that literally one person wants to pay to hear me speak. For real. Like,
okay, then why did you make a business decision to go to all these cities? Why wouldn't you just like do a coffee shop? Why would you buy a venue with 1,500 seats? Like, that doesn't make sense either. Like, your actions and your words are not matching. If you are so shocked that one person will buy a ticket, why don't you do a one-on-one, like, sit down in Austin? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not real. Like, she really thought like, okay, people are gonna like me again because I've talked about certain issues in my life and that people have connected with that. People now think Dave's an asshole because I've like been dropping little hints that he's an asshole, and look at him doing pancake gate. Okay, they're gonna come back to my team now and like I'll be fine. And you know, hasn't happened.
I have never lost that version of me I learned to be a keynote speaker. No bullshit. I learned to be a keynote speaker.
She said nibbles. Not to be confused with nipples. She's like, we went to see if there's nibbles there in Ohio. No nibbles allowed in Ohio. Or nipples either.
By volunteering at senior citizens' homes, by talking at the local library. Like, I would go speak at the opening of an envelope. I would go to anything because I was just trying to work on how to be a better speaker. I can very easily tap into what it feels like to not have anybody know your name and not have anybody care what you were saying. So the fact that thousands of you have bought tickets to tour is like, my heart's exploding.
Thousands of you have bought tickets? Where? Thousands? That would make more than 1,000, correct? We just looked at the list. There's not thousands of tickets sold, unless I cannot count correctly. There's 7 cities, maybe 100, maybe. I don't even think 100 are sold in each city. I would be shocked to find out that there's 100 sold in each city. Even so, that's 700. That's not, you'd have to double that amount, more than double that amount to say thousands. There's no fucking way. There's no way. She's lying. There's no way. I mean, I am not her, I'm not Ticketmaster. I'm not Ticket Wizard. I don't know really. There could be some grand plan. I don't know. But from what it looks like from like maybe Detroit has sold 10,000 and they're just hiding it because they want me to look stupid. I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. But it's not true. Thousands of you. She said the same thing for Rise in Austin. She's like, thousands of you are online right now. There was like 200 of us. I'm like, there's 200 of us I can see right now. And there's 40 of you in person. Like this, that doesn't equate to thousands of people. Sorry. Okay. Mary Dillpickle. What a name. I love it. Are you from the Rugrats universe? Mary says, reminder everyone, Rach is not problematic.
I am not problematic.
And she has no regrets about that.
I don't regret anything.
There you go. And she is also
the best, good girl you ever met in your life.
See? Thank you, Mary. Just like bothers me because it's like, again, like, okay, I'm giving her like a 0.1% okay. She's coming out, she's addressing it, which, you know, it's like the bar is so low. Like the fact that you're selling tickets and then you close a city and then I expect like silence is saying something, you know, like, okay, what type of authentic person you are, or, you know, someone who's relatable, you know, or not relatable. You know, closing down cities without even saying like, hey guys, sorry, you know, you didn't buy the tickets or whatever. And then also she was saying in another podcast, she's like, Joliet and Detroit, you guys are like crazy buying tickets, like so crazy. You guys are gonna like, whoever sells out first gets like a special bonus. There's like not even a close, they'd have to be like a fire for people to run in there and buy a ticket, like some catastrophic event where like the only way to, you know, douse the flames would be to buy a ticket to this thing. But that's the only thing that's going to change. There's like, it's a very slow ticket buying process. The fact that she was like on her podcast saying like, they're competing for who's going to sell out first is bullshit too. So it's all marketing, it's all sales, but it's just not working anymore. All these tactics aren't working. Anyways. Oh, thank you, Hannah Bieber. Are you Justin Bieber's sister? Hannah Bieber says, this is my favorite part of the week. Oh my God. Me yelling. I love being yelled at on my TV.
It is 18 American dollars.
Thank you very, very, very much for that.
18 stinking dollars.
And for that, Hannah said this to me.
I will slowly buy you a boat.
By donating that. Thank you. And just remember,
I am all about getting a free ride.
I am all about getting a free ride and getting a free ticket to Rach Talk Live. Send me one. I'll critique it. Anyways, okay. Thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. Okay, back to it.
And y'all know what's going on. You know the price of gas, you know inflation, you know all of these things. And just in the world that we're living in, as much as I would freaking love to show up, you know, for a few hundred people, just like I couldn't do that because.
Okay, again, like why can't you just fucking, like for once, and I know I'm yelling and I'm cursing and I'm mad, but like it does feel, this is like, okay, this is why I get so personal about this, because it sounds like my mother, me trying to talk to her and like get a point across and say, okay, you know, you really hurt me. This is why. And then my mom will say something like, I understand why you're upset. You had a rough day at school. I'm like, no, it's not because I had a rough day at school. It's because you hurt my feelings. Why can't you hear me? I hear you. You're probably hungry. It's like, no, that's not the reason. Just hear, like the reason is, and it's like, oh, it just bothers me. So when I hear someone like this, I'm like, all the reasons are crystal clear. They're published across the world. It's so fucking obvious why, you know, I don't want to be relatable to you turned a lot of people off. Okay, it's obvious. Her and Dave sold marriage conferences. Then they got divorced. It's obvious why that would piss people off. The fact that she's sitting here saying gas and inflation, okay, whatever, that's stupid. But then on top of it, I can't just come to a city with a couple hundred tickets sold. Girl, count your ticket sales, because the couple hundred ticket sales are in the cities that you have not taken off the list. And I don't even think there is multiple hundreds of those either. So what are you talking about? You're lying again, or someone's lying to you because you refuse to like use the internet for some weird reason. Like, that's not the accurate picture of what it is. Like, people are going to show up to this thing and go, oh, I thought this is going to be packed. And like, you know, like she said, thousands of people are coming to this and there's 10, you know, there's 25, there's 50. Like, I know why she's lying, to protect her ego, to hopefully sell more tickets, I guess. But like, it's just sort of embarrassing at this point. Like, this is not the accurate picture that it's not, it's like the truth is over here and you're over here. Like, well, I can acknowledge one part of it, but I'm not going to acknowledge the whole thing. And it just drives me insane.
In this instance, we have a partner in every city who helps us to put on the show. So there's like a local promoter in every city. And if they commit to something like that, it could be financially really harmful for them.
Before I even comment on that sentence, thank you to M. Rahel Seifu. That's probably really not well pronounced. I'm very sorry. But they picked a pair character doing a classic mic drop. Thank you.
It's okay to cry.
I'm going to cry later. Get this all out. I appreciate it. Since we're talking about Rach, I will also mention, because this is going to be talked about at this in-person group.
My uterus.
This is for you. And last one.
She cleans the toilets.
There you go. Never forget. Hashtag never forget. Okay. So she's like, so not only, and this is the same thing that Heidi does as well, comparing them to, again, Heidi's like, when she and Dave were doing their last thing about, we're not engaged. Like, why would people think that? Meanwhile, they're sitting in front of 2 engagement balloons. Everyone keeps asking why we're engaged. I don't get it. And she was like, I don't know why. I don't get affected by people being negative, but I feel bad for other people who are affected by people being negative. It's like, oh, that's so convenient that you've never had feelings. Wow. Like, how must that be for you to not have feelings? And same with Rach, like she's fine. She doesn't have feelings. She doesn't get embarrassed. She doesn't care that her empire is crumbling to the ground. She doesn't care. She's all good. There's nothing controversial going on here. It's the partners in the cities that we picked that are going to be affected. That's why I took out the kindness of my heart to save them by canceling, not because I'm going to lose money from my estate and from my, Austin mansion boyfriend tour fund. No, my Hawaii, lifestyle, I'm trying to whatever do. No, that's nothing. I don't do that. I care about our partners in all the cities. It's like, give me a fucking break. I'm going to go back and listen to that and like let it play and shut up for a second because it's like, it's so crazy.
And
I went back.
Y'all know what's going on. You know the price of gas, inflation, all of these things. And just in the world that we're living in, as much as I would freaking love to show up, for a few hundred people, just like I couldn't do that. Because in this instance, we have a partner in every city who helps us to put on the show. So there's like a local promoter in every city. And if they commit to something like that, it could be financially really harmful for them. I mean, think about it. Like if they
I'm thinking about it.
Put on a theater and turn on the lights and sell the tickets and do whatever, and not enough people show up, they could lose money. And this is just post-COVID.
But I don't know how any of this works, but I would assume that you rent out the venue. So like, what do they care if no one shows up? If you want to rent out a venue and you're willing to pay the price for it, like, I don't think anyone cares. I don't think the theater necessarily usually gets a cut of like, oh, we have to sell these tickets. Like, we're taking a risk on Rach. Like, usually Rach is taking the risk on herself, right? Am I wrong? Rach? Is anyone in event planning that like deals with this stuff? Because like, I feel like I've gone to events before, or I've worked with venues before when I worked as a manager, and it was like, they could care less who showed up. I had to pay for the corporation had to pay for the venue no matter what. So like, they're like, oh, you and your boyfriend want to come and like dance on stage? Cool. I don't care. Just pay us the money. We'll turn the lights on for you. Like, do you need an audio guy? No? Okay, good. Cool. Enjoy. Like, that's my understanding. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Give me 1 second. I need to copy something over because I accidentally deleted it. Okay. Just so Okay, got it. Never mind. Okay, continue.
It's not an environment where I want to do that, especially in small towns. So, yeah, there were a few cities where it just wasn't working, and so we had to let those go. And I prayed about it a lot, and I just was like, all right, universe, God, I believe that there's a plan, and so I'm going to show up super hard and pumped and with my heart so full, because there were cities that were really into it. And yeah, no worries.
Who?
I
Which
really
ones?
appreciate that you were nervous about me. I'm great. I just am trying to, you know what it is? Like, one of my things in life too is I realize that I have been very successful as a salmon swimming upstream. It's just the name of my game. And
She's reminding us that she's been very successful. My hair, God, I'm so sorry, everybody. She's been very successful. It's like, all right, we know. Can you do it now, though? Like, could you show how successful you are today? Like, you were successful in 2018, but like that was a one-time deal. Can you prove that you are a long-term, non-one-hit wonder boss babe? And I have been unconvinced of that thus far.
maybe it's why I can do this work. And maybe it's why, I'm about to go on tour and talk to thousands of you about naming your goal and believe.
There's not thousands. There's not thousands. Where? Where's the thousands? All in Detroit? Because that's the one I can't see. Give me a break. There's not thousands. That would be too. If there's 2,000 people going to this tour, I would be shocked, utterly shocked. I could be wrong, obviously. I don't know the inner workings of any of this, but from just Ticketmaster, it doesn't look like there's thousands of tickets sold. So the fact that she's saying that just like and putting it in there, like subliminally putting it in there, it's weird to me.
In yourself, and here's how you the roadmap and whatever. Because like, if I can navigate the world that I've navigated, constantly pushing against resistance and constantly overcoming obstacles, well, damn, imagine what it would feel like if you actually went with the flow. So as I get closer and closer to 40, one of my prayers, one of the things I'm meditating on most is like, I really want to be guided. I have felt like since this idea first popped into my heart, I remember so distinctly a year ago sitting at my dining room table, and it just was like someone shot an arrow into my brain. I was like, a tour? What if we like went to cities? What if-
It has nothing to do with the fact that my boyfriend is a tour manager and, I have a weird obsession with competing with my significant others, because as soon as Dave, my ex-husband, who is horrible to me and I hate him, as soon as he wanted to run a half marathon, I instantly also wanted to run a half marathon, and he was, in the entertainment industry, so I became an event planner in the entertainment industry. It's like, we know you have an issue where there's a competition thing between you and whoever you're with, and it just so happens that the man you're with now is a tour manager, and you want to prove yourself to him to show that you're just as good as him for whatever reason that's important. Okay, that's what it seems like is more reasonable and realistic. Not that you just were sitting at your kitchen table and God came into the room and said, tour in Columbus, and then 6 months later or a year later, you had to cancel the tour because God was wrong. It's like, what? There's so many holes to poke in this. It's like, at least if you're going to lie better.
I got a son and I got Jack and I got the team, and we just like, we're joyful and fun. And we talked about hard things and good things and encourage people to meet each other and build masterminds and make connections. Like, what if we did that? And I just have been steadily taking one step in front of the other to get to where we are today. And yeah, when a few of the cities didn't work, it was literally, guys, it was just like that simple. I was like, okay, God, I'm not going to force this upstream. I'm going to make a decision, and that hopefully is what's best for everybody involved, not just myself or my ego. So yes, Erica, I'm great. And there still are a lot of cities that you can come see us. And I promise it's going to be an incredible time. And I had a dream. I literally, before I would prepare for Rise conferences, I would, you have crazy dreams when you have big stuff, like if it's a wedding or, I don't know, big presentations coming up at work, you have these like wild dreams. And I had the wildest dream last night, and it was also so beautiful. So my dream was that we were on tour and everything that could go wrong did. Like, nobody knew how to turn the lights on, and we couldn't find our merch. And at one point, people came in and kidnapped me. I was kidnapped. I had to be ransomed back to the tour. It was like so hilarious, all of the things that went wrong in my dream. But the overwhelming theme in my dream was that we were all having so much fun. And I had a team meeting today with the crew. We're all talking about, tours a few weeks away and like, what do we need to do and who's going to be where and what do we still need to figure out? And I was like, you guys, I'm so blessed that this was the dream, because this is my dream. My dream.
She'd be like, we need to get paid because these cities, you're telling people thousands have participated. It's only been, 27 people who bought tickets. The merch ain't going to cut it. I'll show you the merch in a second. That was announced today or shown today, which, yikes. Thank you, Kimberly Cosse. Thank you. Kimberly says, she figured enough time passed to try and rebuild a new audience. People didn't forget how unrelatable you are, Rach. Hell yeah.
I want to be relatable.
What is it about me that made you think I want to be relatable? No, sis. I'm like, okay, I can't get over it. I'm still not over it. I want to be over it. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm a fucking bitter bitch, Rach.
Rach?
I will never get over Toiletgate for as long as I live. But thank you.
She cleans the toilets.
I also want to talk about this, and maybe today's the day. Maybe I should just do a super cut of all this stuff, because this brings up a good point about the Toiletgate. I thought, and it's been presented to me at least, Toiletgate was a off the cuff thing, and maybe we'll do a separate thing, but I'll tease it here. What if Toiletgate was not off the cuff and caused fully by that one live stream interaction? What if it was pre-written, essentially? It was being talked about months before, or at least like the idea of the cleaning lady who's so sweet, and that she was gonna get off social, and social's a toxic place, and cancel culture, da-da-da-da-da. What if there was evidence that was already a plan? Would you change your mind about Toiletgate? Just let me know. I'll leave it at that, and then we'll cover it soon. Because there has come up some evidence that I've seen with my own eyes, my own ears, that is like shocking to me. That like the detail in which certain things were mentioned and certain words were mentioned, I was like, this happened in February and Toiletgate happened in April. Was this supposed to be some sort of plan that fucking failed completely? I'll leave you with that. Okay, going back to the podcast.
Is that me, Jack, Kate, like my big sister's coming. Like I've just like the volunteers who volunteered to show up and help us love on our guests. Those of you who've bought tickets, like we're about to have so much fun. We're going to do good things. We're going to dream big dreams. We're going to be inspired. Our hearts hopefully lit up and turned on and the whole thing, but we are going to laugh. I hope that you laugh until you pee your pants a little bit. I hope that you get reconnected. Like, we're about to have fun.
I've never heard anyone talk about peeing their pants ever as much as Rachel Hollis.
We're going to have so much coffee. We're going to have
coffee. I was promised cocktails and champagne. Now we're having coffee. Again, the tables have turned once again. The turntables have turned into now we're having coffee and we're developing our personalities as opposed to just having a laugh and drinking some bevies.
When he laughs, and yeah, Erica, everything is great. Thank you for asking. You know, I wanted to tell this story too, and I'm glad you set it up so that I could. I was going to talk about this at tour, but this is also part of being a dreamer. This is part of the process of working toward a goal. And People are terrified of the exact thing that would help them figure out what it is they need to do. The exact thing that you need to do is experiment.
Okay, and I don't disagree with what she's saying here. It kind of goes off into her, like, you know, like someone said in the chat a second ago, like her evangelical pastor moment where she's like, you know, this brings me to the biggest point of today. You know, this is what being a dreamer is, and making mistakes and failing in public and da da da. You know, okay, so we can sort of wrap it up there. That's the tea. She, you know, she sold thousands of tickets to everyone in the world, and she's great, and there's no problems, and she never feels embarrassed because she is Rachel, and she's, you know, overcome everything. Okay, so I teased a bunch of stuff there, and I won't leave you hanging. I'll grab it and we'll go into it. But first, I want to show you the merch. Now, this might not be the full merch, but if you remember, there was a podcast where she talked about she's like working with this artisan group or one artisan in Hawaii, and they made this special like limited edition merch for tour. Not the tour, not her tour, tour. And because she hasn't talked about it in a while, but she was going through this thing, or is still possibly only buying used clothes, like thrifted clothes, that she didn't want to make new stuff. So she bought a bunch, or somebody bought a bunch of like army jackets. Again, this is what I wear on a daily basis. I have no fashion sense, so don't take my 2 cents on this, you know, thing. But she apparently is upcycling some old army jackets, so they're not new. So she didn't like go to the factory and make these. So an artisan made these jackets that you can buy. I think they're hideous, but that doesn't mean they are. I just don't like them. I think it looks like when I would make a shirt for homecoming when I was in high school, and I was like, go team, and I had stencils, and I would just like, you know, bingo card, like how the bingo stamps with paint, and you fill in the stencil. Like, that's what I think these look like, but I'll let you be the judge. Okay, so let me go full screen. Hold on. View full screen. Now this is from today, the Zoom call. They were announced. This is what it is. I heart you and I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Now this is, I believe, I don't know who this is actually. This is someone from the side. However, a little tea, maybe. The person, so in the Zoom call, the person who was controlling the chat was named Kate, I believe. Kate Neely, which is Rachel's maiden name. So I'm assuming that person that was working with her is a relative. Now that to me means that she had Jack in the room, and she had this person, I believe her name is Kate, but the last name was Neely, which is her maiden name. So it looks like Jack is a ride or die, and then now she's got family. This is not the team that she once had. Just once again, more proof that the team is gone, essentially. Rooting. My boothing. Not to be confused with boothing. This is rooting. Or niece. Yeah, I think that might be true, Kelsey. Her niece, perhaps. But that was who was running the chat. Which actually we couldn't chat. There was no interaction between anyone in the chat, but you could send in a question, and the Neely, Ms. Neely could, send it over to Rachel or whatever. So this is hers. Okay, now let me go back. Peeing your pants. I like that. That's how I should put it. It just seems, like I was expecting a lot more, I guess, like bedazzles or something like an artisan, like I'm all for it, but I feel like I could do that. And maybe, high fashion is sort of like simple a lot of times. It's like, if you look at a modern painting, you're like, I could do that. Like just Jackson Pollock. Yeah, I could do that. But maybe you couldn't. Maybe that's one of those things where I'm like, I couldn't actually accomplish this, but I just don't see myself ever wearing this, ever. I don't know. And this is the color version, I guess. I heart you and I'm rooting for you. It's giving, like, what's that one brand that was big a few, 10 years ago? It was like the AIDS red. And it was like very simple and everything was just like red and with like white text. Like that's what it reminds me of. And also the Melania Trump, obviously. It's interesting. Yeah. It's not the best. And that's what it looks like from the front. It just looks like you work at the mechanic shop, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't want to lead people to believe I'm either in the army or work as a mechanic. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a different look. And I don't know how much they cost. They didn't say that. And I'll show you for context, because I know people are like comparing it to the Melania thing, to show you what that looks like. Very similar vibes. She really doesn't care, does she? That would be more appropriate, I feel like, those words. I'm booting for you. Yeah. Like I said, not a fashionista. I, ridiculed Rachel for wearing bicycle shorts to a professional conference on stage because I just think that, if you're charging thousands of dollars, you should probably wear at least jeans. But that's, again, my perspective. I don't know. Like, who am I? I'm not the fashion police. I'm not, what's that woman who, I think she died? I forget her name. Never mind. You know who I'm talking about. The one with all the plastic surgery before she passed away. I'm no Joan Rivers, okay? I'm no Osborne. So yeah. So that was that. And the other tea that I gleaned from being late to the live was that this weekend, she's going to Canada to participate in that climbing Everest thing that she did with Dave before, where you have to like summit, you have to climb a certain amount of mountaintop over and over again 6 times to like, it's the equivalent of Everest, like the miles walked or whatever. She's doing that again. So thank you. That was the other, not tea, but like what she's up to. So in preparation for her tour, she's going to do Mount Everest equivalent walking. So very cool, very cool. Okay.